I've just finished my sketchpad for the year, and I'd like to show you some of my stuff today. So this is actually my new sketchpad, which I very conveniently got as a gift, and it looks like the front page has been a little bit messed up by the font color, but that's okay. And so we can take a look at that later, but this is the old sketchpad which I've been using for the past, around a year. And I'll show you some of the things in it. I've got another unfinished sketch here. Let's just continue. I was actually pretty happy with this one at the time. It's a family friend's baby, but yeah, it was cute. Experimenting with printing a little bit. Let's just skip over this one. It originally looked good, but then over time, because I didn't use hairspray at this time, it looked a bit weird. This was one of the first steampunk things I did where I actually tried to keep things logical. So it's supposed to actually work. I hadn't figured out how steam engines work at this time, of course, but I mean basically this tubing part extends and compresses, and that can move the string along these, which in turn moves the wings. Easy. It's a miniature shell house, so it's like somebody made a house inside a shell. I had one of these big shells which I used for reference, but I sort of just made up the rest. Oh, this was for the daily sketch challenge on Deviantart. So the idea was it was supposed to take less than half an hour. Obviously this took more than half an hour, probably around an hour. But it's based on Princess Mononoke. Okay, this is a steampunk squid, and this is where I did find out what a steam engine was and how it worked. And this is now my official logo. So if you don't know how a steam engine works, the fuel goes in here. There's a chamber inside where it's burnt, and then it's boiled in this chamber. And then I didn't quite figure out how the rest of it worked, but that's alright. Basically, from the chamber, the steam goes through pipes and leads to pistons, which will through compression push out the pistons and power a set of gears. This is a sketch of a ballerina in colour on black paper. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I didn't like the paint though, and a lot of people say it looks too buff, but the ballerina I did use from a reference, and she was very muscly, as ballerinas tend to be. Another family friend's baby. Oh, unfinished sketch. Another unfinished sketch, but the idea behind this one was it was supposed to be a steampunk city, so I actually built the city in SketchUp. It was pretty fun to do, but I didn't end up finishing it, as you can see. This was one of my favorites from the year. It's supposed to be a military doll. I had an actual doll, which I used for a reference, but I made up the costume by myself. The doll was one of those flowery little vintage ones. Anyway, unfinished sketch. Oh, this one was a cute one. It was supposed to be, well, I wanted to test how people could invent mythical creatures, because most of the mythical creatures that we know are just hybrids of existing creatures. You have mermaids, which are humans and fish, centaurs, humans, and horses. That took a while, amongst other things. So this isn't completely an original creature, because I did actually use a bat for the face, and the feet are deer feet. But yeah. A lot of people say it looks a bit like a gremlin. It was just supposed to be a cute creature. I always hated how it's really hard to do landscapes in pencil. So with this one I tried to make it work doing landscapes in pencil. I can't say it did, but it looks alright. Oh, this was another daily sketch challenge. I think I completed this in an hour as well. The theme for this one was Beetlejuice. So this is the guy from Beetlejuice. If you don't know, that's a film directed by Tim Burton. And this is a piece of concept design. I watched a YouTube video about how to design fantasy weapons. So basically I took a normal dagger and I just developed it until it got like this. And I tried to keep it practical as well as looking nice, so I hope that worked. I saw a few sketches on Board Panda for this one. Basically it's like animals fusion with geometry. So I tried this. I was outside the MCA during the holidays, and yeah, I was looking at the Sydney Opera House and tried to incorporate geometry with it, but I didn't obviously have any measuring equipment, as you can see by these very badly drawn circles. But anyway, this is another one. It's unfinished, as you can see, but I did that in the botanical gardens. I think it was on the same day, actually. This is a steampunk mandala. Yeah, I started getting into mandala drawing in class, so I was just doodling my notepad, and I found myself losing inspiration really quickly, and I looked up mandalas on Google, and all these flowery, pretty things, so I tried doing something steampunk because, you know, I love steampunk. Here's another sketch from Botanical Gardens. This was also, yeah, I just did it during the holidays. I went over to Botanical Gardens to sketch some cacti. Plural of cactus is cacti. And yeah, so by this time I really wanted to get better at doodling, because, I mean, that's a bit strange, but like before this, I literally couldn't doodle because I'd be too scared that it wouldn't turn out well, but that kind of defeats the point of doodling. So yeah, this is doodling practice, even though that kind of also defeats the point. I really played with colour in this one, and it was pretty cool. But it's actually based on one of the first artworks I did. I used to draw fish skeletons when I was little, like not fish, but fish skeletons. I really don't know why, but yeah. So I guess it's sort of like a redraw challenge, even though I wasn't actually looking at one of my older drawings because I did it when I was like 2. So I'm sure nobody wants to see that. This is supposed to be a mermaid. I like Norman Lindsay's mermaids because they're different from the classical ones. Like, just the fins on their face, they look exotic. So, yeah, it was supposed to be powerful. And I actually have an oil painting of this. I mean, it's not exactly the same. It's not even a mermaid, but it's using the same face, and I quite like it. This was a commission for a family friend's wedding. Well, yeah, it was one of my mum's cousins' weddings, and I mean, it was one of the first commissions, and I really didn't know what to do, so I decided to do a steampunk thing. I had this little crystal steam train, which I used as a reference. This was a practice sketch for a commission for a ballet program. I didn't end up going ahead with it because I didn't like it very much. Okay, so this was after I learned how to doodle. Okay, whatever. And I took one of the doodles I did in class that I was really happy with and converted it into a more finished illustration. So this is it here. And I did this while I was in Canberra. I was at QuestaCon and they had a spiders exhibition, so that's where this came from. This is just a perspective study, but the design for the house, it's actually my dream house, which, I mean, it doesn't look like much on the outside, but I planned the entire interior because I have no life, obviously. This is a steampunk pagoda because steampunk, I mean, generally it's to do with industrializing the Victorian era, but in this one I tried to industrialize another culture, which is obviously Chinese, so it's a steampunk pagoda. This was the illustration I actually used for that ballet program commission, which I mentioned a few sketches ago. And yeah, the face is a little bit weird, but I ended up editing that digitally, so it looked a little bit, I don't know, happier, I guess. This was far from my actual style, but I was learning how to draw dragons. Actually, it was really interesting because I learned how to theorize about how they evolved and draw from that, because obviously they don't actually exist. So what can you use as a reference when they don't exist? But anyway, so I just used ballpoint pen and watercolor for this. For this one, I really didn't know what to draw. I just asked my friend, what should I draw? And she says, how about drawing a flying saucer? This isn't flying because I never listen to my friends, but it's a swimming saucer, which is sort of half what she wanted. This is one of my personal favorite ones from this year. It's called Rain. It's supposed to be a goddess of rain, and her hair is the rain. I've also got a print of this one displaying at a cafe, which I'm very proud of. This is a draft. Well, not exactly a draft. It was supposed to be a finished one, but I really hated it, so I've made it into a more polished sketch later, but you'll see that. Oh, these are some of the things I drew for Drawloween. And they're actually done in under half an hour, unlike the other things which are supposed to be done in under half an hour. I just did these with my mechanical pencil on the train to and from school. More drawing. Okay, so this was the finished one. It's called Keep Smiling. Yeah, and this is the one I'm actually happy with. Oh, this one's a bit interesting. I'm not sure if you guys will get it, but it's supposed to say love this way and hate this way. This is Lily Pad City. There's not much more to it. This was supposed to be made into print, but I didn't like it, so I didn't go ahead with it. This was the commission for a Christmas design. I added a background later in the end because it looks a bit sinister on its own. You'll see those later. But in the meantime, I did a few more cute Christmas steampunk things, although I think they look more creepy than cute, to be honest. Oh yeah, these are some sketches for the background I ended up making, and this is the finished background. Trust me, it looks a lot better when it has the reindeer standing right there. Okay, so I've been doing some portrait practice lately because I'd really like to busk as an artist and draw people in public. So I've been doing some practices. Some are better than others, as you can see. Okay, so here's a classical mandala, except I did add a little bit of watercolor because I thought it would look really nice. But the rest is just done with a ballpoint pen. I did this at school, as usual. More portrait practice. Oh, okay, this was an idea for my next sketch pad, which you saw earlier. It was going to be polymer clay, because I found another artist who does these polymer clay book covers, and they look amazing, but I really don't like this design, so I won't go ahead with it. And this is the Beauty and the Beast thing, which I recently uploaded to YouTube. It looks a lot better in this than it does in the scan. Yep, Steampunk Beauty and the Beast, pretty much. And this is the design, well, not exactly. I'm going to be using the squid design, which I showed you earlier, and this will go on the front cover of this, except it won't be polymer clay because I don't really have much of that. It'll be paper mache. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to making that, but I have to make sure it stays together. And that's the end. This is just my test page. So I really hope you enjoyed looking at that, and I mean, I'll be able to start this new sketch pad really soon. I'm really looking forward to it. So, see you in the next video.